You're listening to a Mamma Mia podcast.
Mamma Mia acknowledges the traditional owners of land and waters that this podcast is recorded on. Hello and welcome to Cancelled, the lazy girl's guide to bizarre celebrity cancellations. I'm Claire Stevens and I'm joined by
Jessie Stevens.
And on today's episode, we're talking about the Hills.
You are about to enter the cancelled courtroom. The defendants are celebrities. The charges are petty. The rulings are final.
But the only thing really that there is to do is to forgive and forget. So I really do. I want to forgive you, and I want to forget you.
You know what, Lauren? I'm the most sorry ever in my life for spreading all the rumors about the sex tape and, putting all that out there.
And then he does like he did last night. He's a sucky person. He's a sucky person.
Lauren.
I hate Spencer. I'm never gonna like Spencer. You know what? Spencer has you freaking brainwashed. It's so sick to see. It is. You've changed so much since you've been with Spencer. You have.
Look at me. Homeboy wore combat boots to the beach. I know you don't want to call that your boyfriend. I know you don't.
Just beeline straight to Justin. As a friend, it's girl code. You don't go there at all.
I think you should come out here, right here, and come talk to me like that.
This was inspired by a recent, I think he's actually come up multiple times, Spencer Pratt. He just comes up in other people's cancellation stories.
Spencer Pratt came up in what I believe was the Olsen twins.
Yeah.
And then I also think it's adjacent to the OC.
Yeah, it is both because The Hills was the spin-off of Laguna Beach, which was known as The Real Orange County.
All great shows, and we've all seen them all.
Yeah, we have. But Spencer does, if you kind of partake in celebrity culture, you'll notice that a rogue Spencer Pratt just pops up with his crystals at strange...
The greatest surprise when I consider my adulthood, and we are on the cusp of 34, is that Spencer Pratt and Heidi Montag remain together.
With 2 children.
Yeah.
They seem very happily married.
If we're getting too far ahead, I'm sure we will go back. We will take you by the hand to bring you into the Hills universe. But I am looking forward to this episode.
I don't think anyone saw that coming.
No.
Least of all them. So dysfunctional. Anywho, Jessie, apart from that, do you have any memories of the Hills that you would like to just raise for vibe purposes?
Yeah, absolutely. Lauren Conrad's eyeliner would be very important. I think I wore my eyeliner like that. I think I've said it on this show for 10 years. Because I thought if I wore eyeliner like that, I would look like Lauren and I would also look like... Who else is the hot one that I like?
There's Stephanie Pratt, there's Heidi Montag, there's Audrina.
Kristen Cavallari.
Kristen Cavallari.
I thought I'd look like Kristen Cavallari if I just did my eyeliner like that. So I did do that. I would also say that I wasn't told the truth about the workplace. Yeah, because Lauren and Whitney did do an internship. And all it was parties and chats.
Yeah, and sitting in a storage cupboard sharing gossip.
Chatting. Wearing nice headbands is what I envision. But they didn't do a lot of work and they certainly didn't do a degree.
Lauren was studying it at a fashion institute, but she never seemed to be actively studying. It always seemed to be break. But the other thing is I remember watching it and being like, I've never been so clear that Lauren is a terrible employee, Whitney a lot better.
Oh, yeah.
And then Whitney did become Lauren's boss.
Valid. What was the theme song?
Feel the rain on your skin.
That wasn't Laguna Beach?
I don't think so.
I've got to Google that.
Yeah.
Any further to enter the vibe? The Hills. It was unwritten.
Oh. The rest is still unwritten. Yeah. Do. I think that played at my wedding. Not in a central moment, but in the background.
Yeah. It's good fun.
Yes. The Hills is an American reality TV series that ran for 6 seasons, from 2006 to 2010. As we discussed, it was developed as a spin-off to Laguna Beach. It starred Lauren Conrad, who was pursuing a career in the fashion industry. Then it also explored the lives of her housemate, Heidi Montag, her friends Audrina Partridge and Whitney Port, her close friend Lo Bosworth, who she was close friends with in...
never too invested in Lo.
No, she was friends with her in high school, I believe. Lo, she's now like a businesswoman.
Okay.
Yeah,
Still not invested.
I've come across her on the Instagram. And Heidi's boyfriend, Spencer Pratt, also kind of emerged, and Spencer's sister, Stephanie Pratt. And there was a Brody Jenner.
Yep. I remember Brody.
The small moment in history where he was the most famous Jenner.
Wow, that was a moment in time. Very
Really
handsome.
was. It's like nobody asked, like, how are your little sisters? Anyway, Jess, Lauren actually left halfway through the 5th season and was replaced by Kristen Cavalieri.
Oh.
Remember when she turned up to the wedding?
Because, hang on, Kristen Cavalieri, going back to the Laguna Beach universe, I mean, her and Lauren were like
mortal enemies.
Enemies. So did Kristen disappear for a bit there?
Yeah, she wasn't in it.
Oh.
She wasn't in it, then she came back.
Okay.
And Heidi and Spencer were removed because of their erratic behaviour.
Yeah. They upset the rest of the cast.
They did.
In a genuine way.
Yeah, there was debate throughout about whether it was scripted. And this was an interesting era of television because I remember having an argument with Mum about what constitutes reality television. Mm-hmm. Like, is Big Brother reality TV?
Yeah.
But then Big Brother and The Hills don't operate in the same universe.
No, they were followed around with cameras and I didn't get the sense that it was scripted. But then at the very end of The Hills, you will recall the background was like
cardboard.
And it was almost suggested this whole thing has been scripted.
They thought it was meta, like a nod to the rumours, but it's like, no, it's simply confusing.
because I took that as scripted and I remember feeling really like, ugh, and I stomped my foot and I went, well, I'm confused.
Because I was invested.
I was invested emotionally in the lives of my friends, Lauren and Heidi.
Yes. Jess, in 2016, there was a special, The Hills, that was then, This Is Now.
Yeah, watch that.
Then there was a sequel in 2019, The Hills, New Beginnings. We won't be discussing either of these because they are simply not The Hills. The Hills was The Hills.
Yeah.
Although probably some information will seep in.
And The Hills does refer to Beverly Hills.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing I remember noticing about The Hills, it's like they were in Laguna Beach, which, by the way, I went to California and my partner and I had a car and I was like, Laguna Beach.
Laguna Beach, yeah.
And he's like, it's hours out. And I'm like,
oh, no,
cool.
no. We must.
Cool. It was a really cute little area.
Is it?
Yeah, no, it is.
Was Lauren there?
Yeah, she was actually. I do remember thinking, so in Laguna Beach, it was very like, oh, we've got to leave Laguna. Like
get out.
Got to get out.
Yeah,
high school, like, got to be over. Then they went to the Hills and then it was very LA isn't all it's cracked up to be. And I'm like, you guys are negative as fuck.
Negative Nancy.
Yeah. Lighten up. Your lives seem pretty good.
And it's also like there's a big world out there. And it's like you're in the same state.
Yeah.
You're not moving to Paris.
No, you're really not. We'll get to that.
In Australia, you got some people grow up in Sydney, they go to Bathurst. That's a real change.
Yeah, true. My structure for today is as follows. The style. When Lauren didn't go to Paris. When Heidi got plastic surgery. Heidi's fake pregnancy scare. Heidi versus Lauren. And scripting allegations.
Okay.
Jessie, the style. We need to talk about it because it had a hold. I want you to look at these and just describe some vibes. There are many images.
It really influenced us, didn't it? Okay, so we're looking at the first and what we've got is the really big bug-like sunglasses.
Mm-hmm.
I remember you got into those and you've got a small face at the best of times and these just looked like... You did look like a fly.
Yeah.
You looked like a fly close up. We've also got a shirt, like a flowy top. Then what we're going to do is we're going to put a belt around the waist.
Really cinch the waist.
Yeah, with a really quite a thick belt.
Yeah.
I believe you could pick one up. $5 Super 8.
Yeah.
We've also got a mini skirt in camouflage.
Oh, camo.
A camo mini skirt. We have just a lot of side fringes, which the hold that the side fringe had on me was pretty.
The side fringe was iconic and it was always a little bit oily because you got to be swishing it.
Yeah.
And then your hands make it oily and it's a whole
like
thing.
I'm still a teen. I've got the hormones, I've got the oily skin and it's in my hair. So I've got to put talcum powder in it. It's disgusting. And then I've got an image of, I had forgotten about this. It's like a headband, but it goes all the way around.
Yeah, and it's thin.
And it's elastic. on some people it looked really cool. It looked a bit bohemian. But on me it just emphasised the size of my ears.
Yeah. How about these pants worn by Audrina?
Do we call it early noughties?
No, because it was like 2006, 7, 8.
Okay, all right. Again, we've got the big sunglasses. Oh, a 3/4 pedal pusher. A low-rise pedal pusher.
What these...
Stunning.
I mean, what these women's
With
bodies...
a matching headband.
Yeah. But what these women's bodies did to it, I remember looking at Audrina, the flatness of the stomach when your core audience is teenage girls.
Yeah.
Who are like, my stomach is very fleshy and it is poking out over those pants.
Yeah. Not for Audrina. And then we've got Heidi Montag with a thick black eyeliner with peroxide blonde hair, which again, I thought that was beauty. And a lovely leopard print scarf. I mean, we don't talk enough about the time where it would be midsummer in Australia and you just throw on a scarf.
Yeah. A light scarf.
You wouldn't do it up. It would just kind of sit.
Just hang.
I remember wearing loose silk scarves on my European holiday. It was 40 degrees. And I'd go, you know what this beach dress needs? Is a lovely red scarf.
How about barrel curls?
Oh, a barrel. I call these a formal curl. It's a year 10 formal curl. The trick with a barrel curl, a formal curl, is we don't brush them out.
Absolutely not.
We put lacquer to make them hard like table. Hear that? Hard.
Yeah, and sorry, dead straight fringe.
Yeah.
Barrel curl.
Yeah. Big black eyeliner. Foundation on the lips. Yeah. Okay. No blush, no pigment except for the black around the eyes. It's very, very simple, really. And then we've got Lauren crying, iconic image, crying black tears. You and I, heavy black eyeliner, we would blow our nose, black snot, because it's come down the tear duct.
It has.
And a really thin brow with a lot of space in between.
Yeah. How about the bandage dress?
The bandage dress. I'd forgotten about bandage dresses.
Very unforgiving fashion.
They're very, very unforgiving. I remember wearing them to club often, never feeling quite comfortable.
No, because then you'd have a drink and then you'd think,
I look bloated.
I look like a snake who swallowed something. You can see the shape of my dinner.
Because I am.
Jess, that was the style, and that really set us up for some difficult years, and it's been hard to let go.
And I think we're all about a flip phone.
Oh,
like a Motorola, a pink Motorola.
Definitely. Jess, when Lauren didn't go to Paris. In season 1, Lauren was attending the Fashion Institute of Design and Merchandising. So she was doing a degree.
She failed high school.
Did she?
Yeah, it was a whole thing about how she just couldn't because she just wanted to get out of Laguna.
I don't think she was particularly academic. And she had an internship at Teen Vogue with Whitney Port. At the end of that season, Lauren...
And she, from day one at Teen Vogue, they were like, ugh, working, coffees, beads, because they'd have 3 sets of beads on or whatever. And I was like, you're exasperated by day one of your internship.
At Teen Vogue, which is if you want to work in fashion, it is simply the pinnacle. There is nowhere to go from here. Jess, Lauren is offered a life-changing trip to Paris as part of the internship.
I'm sure your heart's telling you to stay, but timing, right? If it was only another summer.
And I have to say, none of my internships involved any overseas travel.
No. Once I got to get everyone sushi.
One time while I was doing an internship, I was asked to go onto the street and do vox pops, so you interview people. And I remembered this the other day. I went up and I asked a man a question, just a fun, lighthearted, do you prefer lettuce or kale? Something stupid that the internet would have liked. Yeah. And I asked him a question and we filmed and then we walked away and I saw he had an ankle bracelet because he was a prisoner.
He was a criminal. Yeah, I did miss that. I actually remember this is the only time in my professional career I think I've said no to something was I was working at Boost Juice, not an internship. I was being paid and I was asked to get into the smoothie outfit. You know the one, hand out free thing. Yeah. And I went, I shan't.
Sorry.
That's where I draw my line.
Yeah.
I can't engage with the public in a smoothie outfit. I'm going to get too hot.
My integrity is I have some.
I have some left, unfortunately.
Jess, Lauren turns down the Paris internship.
Why?
because she chooses to spend the summer with her boyfriend,
Steven.
Jason. No, Steven was Laguna Beach. Jason was what?
Jason looked like someone from the Backstreet Boys. He had facial hair and like, yeah. Jason wasn't even all that. I just remember being like, I have no issue with you not going to Paris for a man. That I have been socialised to believe that's an important thing to do. My problem is with Jason.
Yeah, is that it's Jason.
Yeah.
And
It was for Steven.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. Even Brody.
Yeah.
But Jason.
Not Jason.
Come on now.
Sucked. Jason wore like a Jason Mraz style beach hat.
Yeah. Flared jeans.
Was he a musician?
No.
Like, I don't remember him having any ambition or ever speaking a word.
No, sorry. The men didn't speak. That wasn't important.
I think I changed the channel when the men started speaking.
Justin Bobby. Remember there was a constant joke about calling him Justin Bobby, and I was like, I don't care enough to invest in this.
Take me back to Teen Vogue.
Yeah, I don't care. Jess, the trip was then offered to Whitney. She goes, and Lauren becomes known as the girl who didn't go to Paris.
This is very like The Devil Wears Prada or something.
Interesting that you say that. Now, Lisa Love is the editor. You'd know her face. And she asks Whitney about Paris. When they get back, she calls Lauren and Whitney into her office. She asks Whitney about Paris. And Whitney's like, Fiona was amazing. Who the fuck's Fiona?
I remember this scene.
She sent us to Coco Chanel's apartment. Lisa Love is like, that was a great choice to go to Paris. Lauren, how did your summer with your boyfriend work out? Do you regret that decision? And it's a great face that Lauren does because it's a slow, awkwardly timed nod and then just a glance at Whitney. But 13 years after that aired, just a few months before the Hills reboot came out, Whitney Port dropped a bloody bombshell. She never went to Paris.
Bullshit.
The internship didn't exist. She said, that was so ridiculous. It wasn't an ideal situation, but I thought, okay, this is good for me because I really was pursuing a career in fashion. I thought it showed that I was down and determined to do this. It was very Anne Hathaway as Andy Sachs. I got dressed up in an airport look and went for it. And then after filming the dramatic departure scene, everyone just went home. It was a lie.
I was tricked.
We were tricked. We were manipulated.
It was scripted.
Yeah, look, there are quite a few examples of that.
I didn't get a lot of chemistry between Lauren and the Backstreet Boy.
No. Oh, God, no, absolutely not.
In that they didn't speak.
Jess, when Heidi got plastic surgery. Ahead of the final season of The Hills, Heidi Montag, who was 23, underwent 10 cosmetic procedures within a single day.
You can't go from 0 to 100.
No, well, she had actually already had her boobs a little bit done and her nose already a little bit done. Okay? So they were ones that she was repairing, not doing from scratch.
Right.
But having 10 at once is a lot, and she is on the record as saying she almost died.
I don't think you meant to have 10.
She had a chin reduction, updated breast augmentation, rhinoplasty revision, brow lift, liposuction, facial fat injections, and she had her ears pinned back, among other procedures.
This was the era. I was speaking recently to someone about how now when people go and get either plastic surgery or Botox or filler, it's the whole look is I want to look like I haven't had anything done, right? Like I want to look fresh, but I don't want to look like I'm getting work done. This was the era of make me look like I went ham. Like I have spent $20,000 at the plastic surgeon.
Yeah, and Heidi did. And Jess, I think for a lot of people, one of the best moments on The Hills was Heidi's conversation with her mother.
Yeah, I remember this.
What all did you have done?
I got a slight eyebrow lift, and that's why I had these staples in my head.
Permanent?
Yeah, it's permanent.
They're not going to come down a little?
No. I had my nose redone. I had my own fat injected into my cheeks. I had my ears pinned back. I had injections in my lips. I had my chin shaved down. I had my breasts redone and my back shaped. And then I had a little bit of inner and outer lipo done.
You risked your life to do the things that you did.
Mom, there's brain surgery every day. There's huge surgeries.
You had
that are
elective
every day.
surgery that was completely unnecessary. And
To you, it was unnecessary.
I just feel like that when you left home, you had more confidence and more self-esteem than any person I'd ever met in my life.
Well, you know, growing up, I used to put water balloons in my bra, and I always wanted big boobs, and, you know, it's not anything new.
You said you want bigger boobs than you have now?
I actually wanted bigger ones, but they couldn't fit in.
It sounds to me like you want to look like Barbie.
I do want to look like
Why
Barbie.
would you want to look like Barbie? To everybody else that saw you, you were Heidi. Nobody in the world could have looked like Heidi Montag.
Are you telling me you don't think I look good?
I mean, how do I go and say that, of course, I thought you were more beautiful before. I thought you were younger. I thought you were fresher looking. I thought you were healthier. What's done is done. So that's a terrible thing for me to say. But yes, that's how I feel. I felt that you were much more beautiful before, and I'm hoping that some of this will fade away and go away.
I will always support a woman's right to do what she wants with her face. I don't think it is up for public discussion. You do you, Heidi. But I have always thought the reason why you cannot give me an inch when it comes to plastic surgery or beauty enhancements is because I will go full Heidi Montag within 24 hours.
Yeah, I'll take a mile.
I'll take a mile.
Yeah.
And when you know that about yourself, you got to be putting restrictions in place.
Mm-hmm. I have to say that conversation, I know it's silly, but that conversation always stuck with me. I do think that there's something quite profound that her mum says about you looked like Heidi before and everybody liked how Heidi looked. And then Heidi starts crying and you can't tell that she's crying.
No, you can't because her face doesn't move. But she gets the tears.
Yeah. And she's like, why don't you think I'm beautiful? And it's really sad.
It was really sad, and it was only the beginning.
I do think there's something really fascinating about that dynamic between a mother and daughter, where a mother is like, I think that you are perfect just the way you are.
Yeah, you think your daughter's perfect. She's only got one bottom tooth.
Yeah, she has.
She looks like she could open a can with it. Objectively, not hot.
No, she has square feet.
But you think she's perfect.
I do think she's perfect.
Isn't it funny that at the time we thought it was Spencer? And he was incredibly critical of her and a really bad influence. And now looking back, I'm like, it wasn't as simple as it being Spencer. It was that she was on TV.
Yeah, that would completely skew your perception of yourself. As her mum said, like, apparently when she left home, she was very, very confident. But surely being on television and having people narrate your appearance. But I remember at that point seeing Heidi on TV, I got the exact same haircut as Heidi. I wanted to look like Heidi. And it's just one of those reminders that Heidi didn't want to look like Heidi.
Yeah, but I wonder if it's as much about negative feedback, and that's one part. The other part is having to look at yourself. Like if you're in movies or you're on television, you are looking at yourself a lot. And obviously you're going to get more self-critical. If you can walk through the world and, you know, mostly avoid mirrors, imagine if you're always staring into a mirror. Like you'd start to see things you wanted to change.
Yeah, you'd end up with some kind of body dysmorphia, I think. But that scene was just bloody tragic. But I do think
that didn't seem scripted. I reckon that seemed legit.
Yeah. It was a profound discussion about plastic surgery. One comment I did see on the YouTube video that's got millions and millions of views, somebody said, saying that she got a slight eyebrow lift is like saying you got a little loan of $1 million. And I was like, it was a severe eyebrow lift.
Yeah. And it was also an interesting place to start. What have you had done? It's like you saying, what have you had done? And I say, oh, I had a little bit of Botox between my eyebrows. Oh, and also I got a Brazilian butt lift. It's like, let's start with the butt lift,
Yeah. Can't believe she had her back sculpted.
I know.
Ain't no one seeing your back.
Nah.
Jessie, Heidi's fake pregnancy scare. In season 2, Heidi had a pregnancy scare that turned out to be a false alarm. Hard relate. We have all walked through the world being like, oh no, I think I'm pregnant. And it's like, just take a test. And then you take a test and you're not pregnant.
Yeah.
And you're like, not as dramatic.
No.
Missing the drama. But she did something pretty weird. She decided to test Spencer because that is the sign of a healthy relationship. She's sitting in his car with him and she's like, I've been really sick. Pause. Really nauseous. Pause. Never really felt like this before. So, pause. Then she's like,
what this is a bit of fun.
Yeah, a little bit of just.
That is a quiet Tuesday. Do you ever look at your partner and you're just like, I feel like starting shit? You know, you've been together, you and your partner have been together for like 15 years. Sometimes you've got to throw a spanner in the works.
Oh, gosh, yes. I mean, I start shit all the time.
I've actually looked at him and just been like, what? I just want to go, I'm having an affair. Just to see.
I don't know. Do you care?
Yeah, just to bring some energy into a weeknight.
No, I get where it came from. I just don't think morally it was a very kind thing to do. So she says, I don't know how you feel about me. And he's like, I more than like you.
Oh, yeah. I'd hope so.
Cool. Then she's like, I don't know what we do. And he says,
whatever you want to do. I'm not going to tell you what to do with your body and your life. I'm here. I'm on Team Heidi. But, I mean, this is a decision you need to make.
And what a mature response from Spencer Pratt, which makes his
the first
bizarre
and last suggestion of maturity we've seen in Spencer.
There are a couple of little lines, and that makes him seem more psychopathic because it's like you are capable of knowing what is the right thing.
Yeah.
But then you are an agent of chaos.
Yes.
Then she says, I took a pregnancy test and
pause.
I'm not pregnant.
Okay.
The definition of starting shit.
Yeah.
He's like,
I'm a little bit irritated that you just had me thinking that you were pregnant for a second there.
Oh, like boo-hoo. I've been feeling that way for days. I don't feel bad. I've been feeling that way for days.
So
I thought I really was.
Feel it?
the thing about Heidi and Spencer's fights is that every now and then you were like, you both got good points. It was a weird thing to do. And Spencer, though, went on TikTok in 2022. Are you on Spencer Pratt TikTok?
Look, I dabble.
Yeah. Well, he said it was all acting.
No.
He narrates the scene that is playing behind him.
Oh, yes, I got served this.
Yeah. And he says, okay, we got Heidi buying a pregnancy test. I love how he really breaks it down. They got the sad music, like she's got her life just falling apart. This is all acting, by the way. Heidi's the original Euphoria right here. Sorry, no disrespect to Sydney Sweeney. Anyway.
I don't understand.
So just get back to the point. You got her alleged guy she's seeing not looking good.
Just to be clear, this person he's speaking about as a stranger is still his wife?
Correct.
Okay.
She's in the room. He beckons her later. You think she's all of a sudden pregnant. She's not in control of her life. I'm not saying people don't make mistakes, but Heidi didn't. This is all acting. Heidi does not think she's pregnant. Producers asked her to do this. Then he says that was all set up. We got these 40-year-old plus men asking a 20, 21-year-old woman to pretend like she thinks she's pregnant with a guy that's already making her look bad. Talk about setup. And then he gets Heidi to come over and confirm that, yeah, it was just scripted. It did seem like there wasn't a lot going on that week. And so it was like anybody got a sneaking suspicion that they could be pregnant, but that they are not.
Yeah.
And then it turned into a scene. Actually, a whole story arc.
I mean, I imagine that they do this with a lot of reality TV. Let's just play pretends.
Audrina said the vibe wasn't like, here's a script.
No.
But it was, you're going to lunch with Lauren at 3 and you'll be discussing the party.
Yeah. So I think it's very much you're in year 2, you have a friend over and you're playing. Like imaginary friends, or you're playing around and we had a plot. It's like, okay, you're here, there's a fairy in the garden. Wear a petticoat. Like you're just kind of directing.
Yeah.
I think it's just that.
I think so. Jessie, Heidi versus Lauren. Basically, Heidi and Lauren's friendship imploded because of a Spencer Pratt. Let me share some of the worst Spidey moments.
I think before you begin that Spencer and Lauren genuinely hate each other.
Oh, yeah. I think most people hate Spencer.
Okay.
Yeah. Heidi and Spencer helped orchestrate a hookup between Lauren's friend Jen Bunny. Do you remember her? She was a high school friend. And Brody Jenner, who was Lauren's ex. And that really hurt her. And that resulted in the moment where Lauren called Spencer a sucky person, which was a very, she was like, he's a sucky person.
I want to say that about so many people's boyfriends.
I know. He's a sucky person.
Yeah.
I'm just being real.
Everyone you dated, as in broadly, at 20, was a sucky person.
Yeah. Jess, Heidi and Spencer are fully together and Spencer brings Audrina to the club.
Where did he find Audrina? Why is Audrina here?
Audrina swam up to them at the apartment complex they lived in to fake make friends with them, and then she's friends with them, and then she's part of the group.
Okay.
And then Spencer brings her to the club, and that ruins Heidi's friendship with Audrina.
Why?
Because Spencer is dating Heidi.
Oh, and he's suggesting that he's into Audrina.
Yes. He brings her to the club.
Oh.
You don't just bring someone to the club.
I thought in the club we were all fam.
But in the club, we all fam. What? In the club, we all fam. In the club, we are all family. Are you racist?
Absolutely not. We are not. Remember, what were the clubs called? There was one called like Ledoux.
Yeah.
And what was the other one?
And they always just went. They didn't dance. I don't even think they drank.
No, they just sat and like
tensely
glared.
and looked and glared at each other until someone left.
They were always leaving.
They were always leaving early. And I was like, you spent so long getting ready and your headband looks so good.
Yeah. And then they'd get home and I'm like, what are you going to do? Because I was like, when I go out, I run a bath, put my feet in the bath because they hurt from the heels, and I eat a box of Milo cereal. Do you do the same thing?
Yeah. Do you get the McDonald's on the way home, for example?
But they didn't appear to.
No.
Jess, in season 2, Heidi and Lauren are living together and Spencer asks Heidi to move in with him.
Yep.
Lauren is like, this will probs ruin our friendship. And yes, well, it kind of did. That was like the nail in the coffin, right?
Yeah, but Lauren was being a bit sucky there because I just feel like there is this friend that always won't let anyone
have a boyfriend.
Fall in love. Yes.
Yeah.
It's very that. And we all know that if it was Lauren, if it was the other way around, well, you didn't go to Paris.
You chose to spend summer
with Jason,
whose voice no one has heard. And he's a sucky person. But one of the biggest moments of conflict was when Spencer started a rumor that Lauren and Jason had a sex tape.
What did you do? What did you do? You started a sick little rumor about me.
I didn't start any rumor.
Really? Nothing?
No.
You're a sad woman.
Yeah.
You know why I'm mad at you?
Why, Lauren?
You know why I'm mad at you. You know what you did.
What did I do?
You know what you
did.
She was angry.
She was really fuming.
Yeah.
And Heidi was meant to be a little bit complicit.
I remember this because this was very much the era of the Kim Kardashian sex tape, the Paris Hilton sex tape.
I remember watching the series and being like, someone hasn't done their job properly because I'm confused.
Oh.
Yeah. I was confused.
Plot-wise, you weren't following.
Yeah. Because when she yelled, you know what you did? I was like, what did he do? Am I meant to know? Does he know?
And it was also an interesting time. I understood, like if you're Paris Hilton and you're Kim Kardashian and you got your sex tapes. But back then, the admin involved in shooting with your home camera.
Yeah.
Your Motorola couldn't do it yet. So you had to have your tripod up. You had to get it on a VHS.
Jason didn't seem like a determined enough person.
He wasn't a techie guy.
No.
So I don't know who filmed it, where it came from, and how Spencer knew about it.
Clearly it didn't exist because it would have come out by now.
Yeah. Spencer would have made sure of it.
Yeah.
He would have put it piece by piece on his TikTok.
Yeah. Spencer is unhinged generally. He once yelled at Heidi's sister about Heidi. Remember Heidi's sister Holly?
Yes.
She was often there. Anyway, he yelled at her about Heidi's mum. She didn't make Heidi. She's just a vagina.
Oh.
That's disgusting.
You know,
Spencer.
I reckon that Spencer and Heidi, that was my first. So we would have been 16, 17 when this started. And then, near 20 when the real toxic relationship manifested. This was my introduction to toxic relationships.
Yeah.
Like even now when I think about the red flags, I just see a big old Spencer Pratt with red flags all over his face.
I think about...
Because he isolated her, and that is a warning sign.
Yeah, isolated her from everyone. Remember they moved in together to that house and they were just always fighting about the house. He bought the house without consulting her.
Yeah, that sounds right.
He just bought it and
Yep.
she's like, I don't really like this house. And I'm like,
And also when she went and got a whole new face, I just thought red flag.
Yeah. And then they do weird things with the house as like a power move. But then there was this neighbor, this little boy called Enzo.
Oh, yeah, I remember Enzo. Yeah.
And she was obsessed with Enzo and she threw him a birthday party because she really wanted kids and she was trying to convince Spencer to have kids. And he was like, why are we throwing a party for Enzo?
If my husband threw a party for Enzo the neighbour, I'd have questions.
Yeah.
I'd say let's just let Enzo have his own party in his own home.
Yeah.
Enzo doesn't need to be celebrated here. We do not need a children's birthday party for Enzo.
No. And
we don't know Enzo's surname. Okay. Are we sure it's Enzo's birthday?
Yeah.
Enzo could be telling white lies.
And I'd say, honey, are there other things you could be doing other than planning Enzo's birthday?
Yeah. Are we underemployed if we are organising Enzo's birthday?
Yeah. And I do remember there's this viral clip from the Hills that I saw recently of Heidi when she's talking about how she wants to be in PR.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, yeah, so I just want to like go to parties and blah, blah, blah.
She liked event planning.
Yeah. And the person was like, that's not the job. And Heidi's like, oh.
How would you characterize yourself as a high school student?
I never learned anything. I never went to school. I never did anything. I just like went shopping and hung out, going out, so.
Have you looked at the curriculum?
No.
Have not looked at the curriculum?
No.
Now, let me ask you this. What are your goals?
Well, I want to do PR. That's like my ultimate goal. I want to be like the fun party PR girl in LA type of thing. So that's kind of what I want to do. Kind of more like the party scene.
Party scene. Mm-hmm. That it usually takes someone being in the industry for a very long time to land on the fun type of, I want to organize a party.
Really?
Position.
It's not like right away. You don't get to do that.
I think PR is more sending emails that no one responds to. It's more the vibe.
Yeah. Well, I think like in PR you can get jobs where you're doing the fancy parties and that kind of thing. But it's very much like being like, I'm going to study law, watch me be Meghan Markle in Suits. And it's like that's a very narrow idea of law.
Yeah.
It's just, it's not the whole picture.
Yeah. She wants to go to a party, which is fine. It's just not a career.
Yeah. Scripting allegations. The final scene of the show, as you mentioned before, finds Brody standing on a street and the camera pans away and it's revealed he's standing on like a Hollywood lot and everything around him collapses and it's fake and it's like made of cardboard. Apparently, this was MTV's way of trolling everyone, but again, it was actually quite traumatic. Brody said one of the questions that was always asked was, is it real or is it fake? And we kind of left everybody with, well, you'll never know what's real and what's fake. And I just found that way to end the show
deeply unsatisfying.
Yeah. Quite upsetting.
It was like, joke's on you, audience.
It's like,
and we were
why
like, well, who have you got other than us?
I think it's like, I watched 6 seasons of this.
And before that,
Laguna Beach.
I watched Laguna Beach. And before, or concurrently with that, I watched The OC, which I knew was a drama.
That's
which
different.
I knew.
And I dabbled in The City or whatever Whitney's show was.
Yeah.
Only briefly. It wasn't very good.
But I dabbled.
Yeah.
I sat there. I worried about Heidi when Spencer was having her fling with Audrina. I willed Lauren to go to Paris. There was no Paris. I was played.
Yeah. Jessie, it's time for charges and sentences. All right, Jessie, my charge. Obviously, I'm upset that I don't know what's fake and what's real. But I'm also upset that, in hindsight, the stakes were low.
Wow. Yeah. For a scripted show, weak on plot.
Yeah. So this ended in like 2010. Since then, we've had Real Housewives.
Yeah.
We've had...
When we've had Married at First Sight, probably scripted. I mean, we've got Hayley scrubbing a toilet with her fake husband's toothbrush.
Yeah.
We've got fecal matter. Sorry, it's the other way around, actually.
Yeah.
It was her husband that got annoyed by a skid mark and did put the toothbrush in the skid mark.
And she brushed her
I believe
teeth.
that actually happened. That's how far they went with the plot.
Yeah.
High stakes, because as we've talked about, gum disease, illness.
Yeah, she brushed her teeth with poo.
The stakes are through the roof.
We've got a cheating scandal on the block.
Even on maths, it's like we now have quarterly cheating scandals. We can't just have the one.
Yeah. I just think reality television has given us so much. Yeah. And when you look back, you go, I don't really care if Lauren goes to Paris because she seems like she's going to be fine.
Yeah,
and like spending the summer with Jason, not a great plot point in that I don't care about Jason.
Yeah, he's so boring.
He's so nondescript.
Yeah, low stakes. Yeah.
And even Heidi's wedding, And it was like tension, tension, tension. Will Lauren turns up. She turns up. She's entirely respectful. Then Christian turns up. Everyone's respectful. Both wearing blue dresses. I'm like, somebody kill somebody.
We need some writers in this room.
Yeah, we need somebody to, I object.
Yeah.
I object to this wedding.
Yeah.
It's a wedding. Like, there's so much drama.
Laguna Beach felt a lot more high stakes because it was about Steven.
Yeah.
And they all wanted Steven. And I was like, I want Steven.
Yeah, he's quite beautiful.
Yeah.
So, low stakes. And also this idea that things were not real, which is very upsetting. My sentence. The stakes are higher when you have 2 children and you're Spidey.
You're Spidey?
Spencer and Heidi.
I forgot about their couple name.
Jess.
That feels very a name they gave themselves. I'll say that.
Absolutely.
I'll say that.
Speaking of PR, they definitely had their own PR to build that career. Now,
Claire, what do either of them do?
Okay, they were on a show called like Marriage Rehab.
Okay.
In the US. And I do think that they are seeking out television opportunities all the time.
I think chuck them on Maths.
Yeah.
No. Imagine Spencer on Maths.
Or like Wife Swap. They need to be on television.
Yeah.
And I would watch it and I need it to be authentic, but I also need chaos thrown in.
Yeah.
Spencer really upsets me with his crystals.
Is he a crystal guy?
Are you joking?
No. Claire, I am not deep on Spencer TikTok.
Jess, he wore crystals around his neck on the hills, but he's become more of a crystal guy.
Okay.
He's really into them. He's always kissing them and putting them against his forehead and stuff.
Okay.
So I need to know more about his crystal hobby.
Okay. Does he sell crystals? Feels like he might.
Yeah, it seems like he probably does.
Yeah.
They're always courting attention, and I think they need their own show.
Yeah.
And I'd watch it. But it needs to be produced by whoever makes the Kardashians, somebody who knows how to bloody construct a story in 2024.
I agree. Okay, my charge.
I wonder where Enzo is now.
Oh, my God.
Where is
Enzo?
I reckon Enzo was maybe 10, probably younger. He'd be in his 20s.
Okay, sorry. Can you imagine being Enzo? Let's say, I don't reckon he was 10, I reckon he was 8. And your neighbours want to throw you a party. Weird. But in fact, it's nearly breaking down their marriage, their decision whether or not to throw you a party. How traumatic that would be.
And it was very
And
much...
it's on television.
It was very much like poor Enzo.
Yeah.
His family doesn't love him, we'll throw him a party.
Yeah.
It's like, Enzo never said that.
And again, I don't think it's Enzo's birthday.
No.
Okay, my charge. Being fake, storylines and everything. And this is where it got confusing, except for Heidi's face.
Yeah.
Right?
People said that was the realest. that was the
So
realest.
real.
Yeah.
Is that scene with her mother going,
she didn't go
is this permanent? She half-hearted. This wasn't like we'll do a funny storyline where I get too much lip and then it dissolves. It was almost like Heidi didn't realise this was a manufactured scripted show.
You don't have to do that, babe.
And then she went to a plastic surgeon and was like, so the back sculpting, not reversible.
Yeah.
So now I just got to live with this new face. Because I think best storyline in The Hills ever was Heidi getting a new face.
Obviously.
It was just that Heidi then had to live with that face and there was only 6 seasons.
Yeah. She then had to live with it in private.
Yeah. Okay. My sentence is that I don't think if you are not on Spencer Pratt TikTok, I don't think we talk enough about Spencer Pratt as a culture.
He inserts himself.
I know, but I just think we should be prosecuting him weekly.
He needs a centralised place to exist. The thing about Spencer.
I feel like he exists on Discord.
Yeah.
Like some deep,
yeah,
dark web situation, maybe a porny site.
He needs more of a consistent TikTok strategy. And he also, like, the thing is, if you Google anything about The Hills, it's like Spencer Pratt talked about that. But it's like, why did you just do it on TikTok?
He's a professional troll. I think that's because what's the worst thing he's ever done? Like, why do we, other than like he wasn't nice about Mary-Kate, we talked about that in that episode.
I mean, an abusive relationship with Heidi?
Yeah, okay, he bullies Heidi and he's really mean to her.
Yeah.
And because he was really critical of the way she looked.
And he says horrible things about everyone. Okay. He's a bad person.
Okay.
And he falls out with everyone. I don't think he speaks to his family. One of them.
Yeah. Right. Don't trust him. Don't trust him. Before we go, I have a lazy girl story from Hannah.
Lazy girl.
She's a lazy girl. Hannah says that she made pasta the other night, and when she drained it in the sink, a few bigger chunks got stuck in the plug thing that stops food going down the drain. She doesn't know what it's called, too lazy to Google it. She couldn't be bothered walking the 5 metres to the bin because that would require her to pick up the, let's call it a spiral pasta or a penne. She'd have to pick it up and throw it in the bin. And she was like, I don't want to go all the way to the bin.
What I do is I turn the tap on at force.
Shove it down with knife.
Yeah.
That's not what she did.
She didn't eat it.
Yeah. She picked it up, threw it in the mouth. There is no bin like the mouth.
Honey, it's not good pasta, it's damp.
It's damp.
Also,
it was only a few pieces.
It's sink pasta.
It is sink pasta.
You don't want sink pasta.
There's no such thing as a person who hasn't eaten sink pasta. Because sometimes you do the thing and then some falls out.
You go, I'm not going to waste sink
I'm
pasta.
not going to. No, exactly right. And do you ever stare at your sink and go, are you really dirty or are you really clean?
Yeah, because I put soap in you a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, I often think that. Are you dirtier or cleaner than my toilet?
But that soap is full of chemicals.
Exactly.
Very confusing.
Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Cancelled. The producer of Cancelled is Kimberly Bradish, with audio production by Leah Porges. Please send us your Lazy Girl stories. You can send them to the twins_thoughts on Instagram or podcast@mamamia.com.au. That is to our email address. And we will be back next week.
Bye.
Bye.